Well, some projects are rounding out, others just beginning, and that is the state of road work right here in the Key City.
The Metropolitan Planning Organization hearing from TxDOT and city officials about projects and present and future around the Key City. KTAB's Noah McKinney updating us about planned operations that could be at or coming to a street near you.
On this tour of Abilene roads and improvements to come, we've got quite a few stops to make, so let's begin at East Lake Road, where TxDOT engineer Bryce Turrentine says permanent striping is on the way and paving of the Spillway Road is straight ahead.
They're forming the rest of that up this week and should be able to start pouring that next week when the weather cooperates.
We then head south to Winters Freeway, where safety barrier placement has already been completed. The same soon to happen to connecting Loop 322.
They should be finished setting those barriers next week. Then they'll have some cleanup work. That one's been going pretty smooth.
Now, before we enter Abilene proper, a quick look at a continuing city project along Maple. The stretch from Carriage Hills Road to 322 currently under reconstruction.
Should take a month to complete that.
Abilene Public Works engineer Richard Harbert telling the board that the Maple reconstruction will then go into the next two projects from 322 to South 27th, then 27th to East South 11th. Both projects currently 95% designed.
That's just being reviewed internally. Still pushing for that internal deadline of March.
Moving further inside the highway circle, railroad crossings are closed for work at TNP Lane and Leggett. Turrentine saying it's not going as quickly as they'd like, so they're working with the contractor to speed up that process.
We're trying to get those done so that we can move on to some others. Bear with us.
And with Buffalo Gap Road's minor finishing touches awaiting better weather, the city is preparing to extend roadway improvements to Rebecca Lane between Buffalo Gap and Catclaw.
That is still under design internally. We wanted to avoid any overlap so that the citizens there don't have to deal with construction on Rebecca as well.
Traveling now to the place where tires dare not tread, pedestrian walkability projects are seeing progress as well, with South 14th sidewalks soon to enter Phase 2 from Willis on east to Sales Boulevard, though a similar project at the intersection of Old Anson Road and Ambler still has a ways to go. Harbert saying the city is working to get easements to further that 30% design completion still in progress. And rounding out our trip to the heart of the city, where Cypress Street corridor crews have set up shop on the South 3rd Street section.
They're doing utility improvements on that.
Solid ground soon to follow if the sky above cooperates.
Weather permitting, we'll get to the paving next week.
For BigCountryHomepage.com, I'm Noah McKinney.
Thank you, Noah. Just a brief look there at the many projects which were updated during the meeting. Of course, I'm sure all drivers have their own suggestions on which streets need to be fixed next.
I need a map of where to go and where to avoid. Thank you.
I understand.